The president makes $400,000 a year.
And he gives it back.
This quarter, he's made over $1 billion, 1.2, 1.4 billion on crypto alone.
That's amazing.
What I want to tell you that's unethical is the fact that when you make 3,500 trades in 1 year and you
Donald Trump is facing growing questions over the billions of dollars his family has made while he is back in the White House. And this CNN panel gets into a heated debate over whether this is simply successful business or a serious ethical problem. Now, if you're new here, I'm Bradley Hostin, and this is The Bradley Hostin Show. If you enjoy honest political commentary, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As usual, let's watch the clip, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts afterwards.
Tonight, Donald Trump spins profiting off the presidency.
I'm the only president, they say, that's ever given up my salary. I gave up my salary.
While defending his public stakes in private businesses.
Somebody said, that's not very American. I said, no, I think it is very American, actually.
Plus,
every business owner, please set your thermostats to 78 degrees.
The right's new evidence of communism? Air conditioning. Also, did Donald Trump hijack America's birthday? From small crowds to chaotic pet projects, why the 250th is becoming politicized. And another worrying sign for the economy, as the U.S. added jobs at a slower rate than expected. Ditto for wages. Live at the table, Bakari Sellers, Ben Ferguson, Yemisi Egbawale, and Ashley Davis. Americans with different perspectives aren't talking to each other, but here they do. Good evening, I'm Abby Phillip in New York. Tonight, President Trump is defending the billions of dollars that he earned in his first year back in office. Here's part of that defense.
I'm the only president, they say, that's ever given up my salary. I gave up my salary.
Right.
I don't get a salary. I gave it up.
The $400,000 annual salary that Trump says he gave up is obviously a drop in the bucket compared to the $2.2 billion he reportedly made during his first year in office. Now, just to put that number into context for you, the presidential salary would have been just 0.018% of his total earnings just last year. But he is also dismissing any concerns about the more than $1.4 billion that he's made on crypto alone, claiming that he has no say or control over his portfolio.
I don't do anything having to do with my business. My kids run it. They have made a tremendous amount of money, more than I would have ever thought I would have made. And I let people invest it. I don't even know who they are. But it's given to big firms like that are on your show all the time. Mm-hmm. My son, Eric, handles it. I don't talk to him about things such as this. I think I'd be allowed to. I'm not sure even what the status is, but I don't.
In the disclosure this week, the amount of money that you and the family made in crypto, it was an outsized number. I was just asking, were you know about the crypto ventures? So that was just something.
By the way, I could know about it. I didn't.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing illegal. There's nothing wrong with it. I could know.
But all of this shouldn't be a surprise. President Trump told Fortune magazine back in 2000 that it's very possible that I could be the first presidential candidate to run and make money on it. Now, before we open it up to the table here, I want to invite you, once again at home, to join the debate. Head to cnn.com/Abby, and you can weigh in. We'll get to some of your comments throughout the show. And just as this is all happening and Trump is making those comments, we also get another piece of evidence that the Trump family has extraordinary luck, let's call it that way, in the market. Plan to ease rules on mailing guns could help company that Trump Jr. has a stake in. President Trump's eldest son is a key player in Grab a Gun, a company that hopes to dominate internet firearms sales. They'll dominate it because the president looks like he is about to ease regulations on that. Don Jr. has a stake in the company. He is on the board. So, yeah, I mean, the Trump piece of it is actually just kind of a drop in the bucket compared to what his sons are probably doing.
No, I think back to 2020 and Donald Trump coined and many Republicans coined Biden, the Biden crime family, because of Hunter Biden. What we're seeing right now is grifting on steroids. And I want my Republican friends to just think about Barack Obama shoes, Barack Obama fragrances, Barack Obama Bibles, Barack Obama watches. Imagine Barack Obama making a meme coin, Michelle Obama having a meme coin, and then rug pulling it and making billions of dollars off of their investors. I find it hypocritical. I find it, if we go back in history, we made Jimmy Carter put his peanut farm in a blind trust. And now you have this president. And I don't really feel bad for anybody. I kind of giggle a little bit because he's making money blindly off the back of his supporters who apparently don't care, which is fascinating to me.
But also not care, but I also think that this is a tale as old as time. I mean, this starts out, remember when Grant was accused of his whiskey sales, and we had LBJ, we had Clinton, we had Biden, obviously. But the thing is what I think's different, and I've said this from the beginning, is the Suns especially are doing this wide open.
Yes.
So the criticism of Biden's son as Hunter, was that he did it in secret.
I give you all credit because look, they're not breaking the glass.
Transparency is not a justification.
They are stealing out the front door.
It doesn't mean
Just
hold on,
because
are we
you-
accusing the president of doing anything
Let me
illegal?
just-
No,
well,
we're
let me
not.
just say,
He's really good at making money and has been for a long time.
Lucky. Hypothetically, if you rob a bank and you don't have a mask on, it doesn't make robbing a bank
Is he
less
broken a
illegal.
law? That's the part. Like, he's not broken a law.
I'm saying.
He's been
my point is
successful before he
doing
became president.
something that is unethical out in the open.
What is
does
unethical?
not necessarily
let's
mean
be
that
clear.
it's
Hold on.
right.
And I listen to what you
right,
said, but
Ben?
like, I think it's awesome when people in
would it
America
have been-
succeed. I love the fact that we have a president that was
Ben,
really wealthy
but
when
he's
he
not-
came in, and he keeps doing business
he's
with
not-
his family.
So
there's
you
nothing
would have been.
there's nothing wrong with
So hold
this.
on, you would have been fine with the so-called Biden crime family, if Biden had just been transparent. If Hunter Biden had just been transparent
let me give
about
you
what
a
he was
perfect
doing. Is that
example.
what? Answer the question.
No, you literally brought Don Jr. and the guns.
No. Let me ask
I'm going to answer.
No,
I'm answering the
let
question.
me ask you.
Yes.
If Hunter Biden had just been transparent, if he had just said, you know what I'm
Burisma was
doing?
not transparent.
I'm using my
what
dad's
she's
name
asking
to
you.
make money. You would have said, totally above board. We're fine
If
with
he
it.
was
Yes?
doing actual businesses, Burisma was massive corruption. He didn't know anything about the industry. Don Jr. and guns are a great example. I hung out with Don Jr. at the SHOT Show 20 years ago in Vegas.
Do the Trump
He's
sons
been involved in
know-
guns for 20 plus
What
years.
do the Trump
and hunting and
sons
fishing.
know about mining rare earth minerals? What do the Trump sons know about robotics? What do they know about
A
drones?
lot, clearly. They made a lot of money off of it because they actually invest in it. Let me ask you this. Have you ever looked in your retirement account and what do you know about cryptocurrency? What do you know about rare earth minerals? I'm invested in all those things.
Respectfully,
I'm invested in all those things. And by the way, made good money while Trump was in office.
Let me give you. You asked.
A lot of Americans
You asked what did he do? You asked what did he do that was unethical or illegal?
Nothing.
And I wanted to answer that just plain and simply. Because I don't know, I take hot yoga. I feel like you're doing a little yoga too for that pretzel that you got yourself in.
Dude, I love that people make money and they do it because they invest.
But listen,
and they
I just
have
want
a lot of money. That's awesome.
In quarter one of 2026, Donald Trump has executed 3,500 trades. You want to know what's unethical about
Almost
that?
as many as Nancy Pelosi.
I'm glad you brought her up because it's not. It's nowhere near.
Nancy Pelosi,
but can I finish? Can I finish real quick?
What she's made is way
Can I finish
more,
real quick? Because you asked.
$144,000 a year.
Can I ask? Can I answer your question?
No, it's not. But
And it's not.
Nancy Pelosi has.
But
they made an app to follow her
Ben,
trades because she's so good at it.
Ben, come here.
She's literally better than Wall Street at it.
Just a second. Objectively, the amount of money is not the same. Okay,
Percentage-wise, based on her salary.
We don't need to fight about that. It's just not the same amount of money.
Nancy Pelosi was making how much a year, and how many millions is she now worth?
Okay, but this
that's insider trading. Donald Trump walks in with $1 billion and turns into $2 billion, and you guys are freaking out. $1 billion is a lot to start with. Like a lot.
Ben, to utilize
like a lot of money.
Ben, to utilize your phrase, the president makes $400,000 a year,
and he gives it back.
This quarter, he's made over $1 billion, 1.2, 1.4 billion on crypto alone.
That's amazing.
What I want to tell you that's unethical is the fact that when you make 3,500 trades in 1 year and you go up and you invest in a company and then you sit in the Oval Office and you tell people, wow, this company is great. This company is going to do X, Y, Z. or you ease regulations on this company and you trade and purchase stock in that company. That fundamentally is unethical. You can call it what you want.
So should we then go after Nancy Pelosi with the same vigor that you just went after the president? Because she does it for years.
The Wall Street Journal has a news story tonight as well. Look, because this stuff is coming fast and furious, and as you know, Jonathan Swan, who wrote a book about this, said we're scratching the surface of this. The Journal says, in a series of trades on April 3rd and 4th, the days after Trump announced global tariffs in the Rose Garden, his investment accounts bought and sold hundreds of individual stocks, according to financial disclosures. The strategy shifted on April 8th, when his accounts only purchased 327 individual stocks, spending more than $3.6 million to scoop up Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, and other blue chip stocks. No selling that day. Trump posted on social media the next morning, "It was a great day to buy." And then he paused much of his tariff regimen that afternoon. Markets then took off. And guess what? He made a lot of money, okay? So just lots of coincidences.
And the political bubble.
Lots of coincidences that nobody believes is a coincidence, because the president has the power to control with his words what markets are doing. He has the power to influence government contracts, which some of these companies have gotten. He has the power to influence foreign affairs, which also affects some of the business deals that his kids are doing. That's what's part of the problem here.
Yeah, and I just don't think it helps Republicans as a whole as they're going into the midterms, because at the same time that he's doing this with the crypto, and he called it a scam a couple years ago, I guess now he understands it and he's like good on crypto, but he hasn't signed the housing bill. Like, there are real conversations about affordability that are happening, and I think there are a lot of Republicans who would like some help in their districts and their states in pushing forward that message. And it's very hard to sell affordability when the president is reported to call the housing bill a huge yawn, and at the same time he's raking in this money. Does he want to help the party as a whole?
This is the part that really is amazing.
I
remember sitting on a show, and you guys were saying that Donald Trump was a fraud, and he really probably wasn't worth $1 billion. He was lying about his wealth. Yes, exactly. And now you guys are pissed off that he's worth billions of dollars, admitting that he made a lot of money. It's like the definition of hypocrisy. It's like Donald Trump's not really rich. Damn it, now he's too rich. Like, which one is it?
Hold on, Ben. Hold on a second, Ben. I don't think
it is.
Funny. Do you know what hypocrisy really means?
When you say that Donald Trump's not rich and you say he's lying when he's running, and then he actually is rich and then he makes more money, and now you're mad about it? Like, that's hypocrisy.
Here's what we're really talking about here. We're talking about Trump in 2024. Bringing in $600 million from his businesses. And the very next year, the only thing that's changed is he suddenly is president. And that jumps to $2.2 billion. That's not being a good businessman. That's not playing the market. Those are gains that no one is getting.
But a lot of people that went into crypto, a lot of people that are liberal, you can go to Soros's. They've made a lot of money off crypto.
I just want to be really clear about what we're talking about when we say crypto. You heard in the clip, President Trump claimed that he didn't know anything about it. That we know is not true, because the reason he made much of the money on crypto is because just a few days before the election, the inauguration, he started advertising these crypto meme tokens.
Yes.
That is where he is getting the crypto money from. He personally did that. Yep. So he knows where he got that money from.
He knows a lot of the money.
No. That was $600 million
I know, but the real wealth
crypto
is from the World Liberty.
That is the biggest, the largest chunk of this is the $600 million from the sales of the transaction sales of the meme coin.
So
he did make a lot of money.
By the way, here's my question though: is
he
it
did make a lot of money from the world?
Or did he commit a crime? It's just jealousy. People are jealous that he made a lot of money.
Can I answer, Ben? So it's not jealousy.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna make one complete sentence, and you're not going to know it real quick. So it's not jealousy. What we're talking about is, and it's not hypocrisy. What we're saying, though, is that Donald Trump is corrupt and Donald Trump is a grifter. And the way that he made his money, for example, I want to talk to you about the Trump meme coin. There were 1 million wallets that have experienced net losses of $4.5 billion. It was a rug and pull. Like, that is what it was. The Melania meme coin. If you invested $10,000 in the Melania meme coin at its height, you now have 90 cents. So it's not a genius move. What we're saying, though, we're not saying, oh my God, we're not saying don't go out and be rich. I love Mark Cuban. He's done great work, and go out and make your money. What I am saying is, though, if you're going to grift on the back of your supporters, like, okay, if you're okay that it's transparent, or that
why is approval rating 90% among Republicans?
Let me read a quick.
If this is really what it is, then why do Republicans support more than any other president that's Republican?
We just got a comment from one of our viewers who's watching right now. They say, "Where is the Senate and Congress? I can't believe the silence. Please do something. Where is the Senate and Congress?"
This is actually their own problem, and I think that's something we should talk about, is the insider trading bill or the stock trading bill, whichever one you want to call it, that's actually very bipartisan, which started not just with Nancy Pelosi, but Republicans as well. Congress won't pass it. So they're able to do the same thing, and they're making the same laws. So I actually think
Nancy Pelosi will never let that happen.
Well, you know, hold on. But can I just, on that point, that insider trading bill stalled, and you're right about that. And one of the things about it was that it actually exempted the president and his family from the same rules that would have bound members of Congress. I think what the viewer is asking about is why on earth should that be the case? And I think that's a legitimate question.
Well, first of all, whether it's the case or not, I don't think anything's ever going to happen because of it. And also, I think one thing that I do want to clarify, the president himself is not sitting there making these hundreds or thousands of trades that were just commented on. Someone else, every president, every member of Congress, every staffer, you put your financial interest in a blind trust. They're the ones who do it.
But also, not accurate, though.
Yeah, you do. But he's not sitting there making trades.
Let me just tell you why it's not accurate, just real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Because you have 4,500 trades from this president of the United States.
That he's
do you know how many trades, portfolio, whatever, Joe Biden made? Zero. Do you know how many trades Barack Obama made? No. Do you know how many trades Barack Obama made? Zero. Do you know how many trades George Bush made? Zero.
I also don't think that it's enough to say.
Listen.
So there's a lot happening here, but for me, the biggest issue isn't Donald Trump making money. If you're wealthy and you make money through legitimate business, that's your business. The problem is how you make that money when you're also sitting in the Oval Office. Because Donald Trump isn't just another businessman anymore. He's the president of the United States, and the decisions he makes can directly affect companies, industries, markets, foreign governments, and investors. That's why the number of trades and the timing of those trades matter. When we're hearing that Trump-linked accounts were buying stocks immediately after major tariff announcements, and then Trump was making public statements that moved those markets, I think it's completely reasonable for Americans to ask questions. You don't even have to prove that a crime happened to recognize that there is an enormous conflict of interest problem. And I think that's where the argument about Nancy Pelosi completely misses the point. If Nancy Pelosi is doing something unethical, investigate her. If she broke the law, prosecute her. But saying, what about Nancy Pelosi, doesn't answer the question about Donald Trump. That's whataboutism. And I think Republicans would understand that immediately if the situation were reversed. If a Democratic president came into office and suddenly went from making hundreds of millions of dollars to billions while their family was simultaneously involved in crypto, firearms, mining, technology, and other businesses potentially affected by government policy, Republicans would absolutely be asking questions. And they should. The same standard should apply regardless of who's president. The other thing that really stood out to me was the Trump meme coin. Because this isn't simply a situation where Donald Trump happened to invest in cryptocurrency and got lucky. The discussion points out that Trump was directly involved in promoting his own crypto ventures while millions of investors lost billions of dollars. So when somebody says he's just a genius businessman, I don't think that's enough. The question is whether the president is using the power and visibility of the presidency to personally enrich himself and his family. That's the question. And honestly, I think the American people deserve an answer. Because you cannot spend years accusing other politicians of corruption and then suddenly decide that corruption only matters when it's happening on the other side. If we're going to talk about the Biden crime family, then we should be willing to scrutinize the Trump family. If we're going to demand transparency from Hunter Biden, then we should demand transparency from Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and the president himself. That's not being partisan. That's consistency. And I think that's ultimately what this entire conversation comes down to. I'm not angry because Donald Trump is making money. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. As usual, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more news commentaries. I'll see you guys in the next one.